This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. We're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our stellar affiliates across the country. 3-hour banger lined up today, including a live visit from our old friend, Nigel Seeley. A lot to get into with his best bets in soccer this weekend. Also, his reaction to the World Cup draw / bracket. Are there bets to be made as of right now? Sal Palantonio on the program in an hour. Mike Palm, 90 minutes. You cannot be serious. Matt Humans a little bit later on today as well, Paulie. A lot to get into over the course of this program, including the Miami Dolphins making it official, and Tua is not going to be their starting quarterback. And that is one hell of a contract they signed him to, $55 million a year. This week, short term, as a result, Bengals now bet up to a 4 or 4.5 point favorite, and that is after they were shut out last week. Little bit different story taking on the Ravens, and now you spin it here to take on Miami, and the total is 47.5 or 48 in this game. I'm a little hurt personally here because of the fantasy football playoffs, and I was clinging to Darren Waller like in multiple tight end leagues, like he could actually save the day. And now what do you do with no Tua? Because they're taking on the worst tight end defense like we've ever seen, basically.
There's a lot going on here. So he'll be the emergency quarterback. Zach Wilson's the backup. How about his career? He couldn't even beat out Quinn Ewers. McDaniel said he gives us the best chance to win. Won't play another down with the Miami Dolphins. And remember, we go back to that Thursday night game a couple years ago when he took that vicious hit and was fencing. And the question was, would he ever play again?
Right.
So there's a lot of talk about, because it didn't look good that you're laughing hysterically on the sideline after you're down 21 points, and he was having a good time on the sideline. That doesn't look good. The comments about, did you just get your money and then call it good, and you get that big payday.
Wasn't there that game around Christmas as well, many years ago against the Packers, where the same thing was happening, and he was taking just shot after shot, and we're like, oh my God, man, this poor guy.
Yeah,
at that point, you might have to actually call it quits here.
Right, because it speaks more to the stat that's incredible. He has 20 rushes this year. Only one is for a first down. You saw the 3rd and 1 play on Monday night. He couldn't even get the first down.
I know.
And he had all that room. So it goes back to being scared, how many concussions he's had, and then did he just kind of shut it down and say, I'm good, once he got the big payday, which has happened numerous times in sports. The other numbers are staggering. He leads the league in interceptions. Every interception has been against a zone defense. He's 6 years in the league. So that begs the question, does he know what he's looking at?
I scrambled a little bit upstairs.
Yep, and that also goes back to remember what Howard said after week 1? The Colts beat the Dolphins and blew them out, humiliated them. Former teammate Xavier Howard said, if the first read isn't there, he panics.
Yeah, he has no clue.
That's
where he gives it. By the way, that's your bad beat incoming here. For those of you who bet Tua to have the most INTs on the year.
Yeah, it is.
We'll see how it shakes out, though, because Geno was at the top of the list, and why would the Raiders bring Geno back?
Yeah.
But if you can't cash a ticket on Tua at this point to lead the league in INTs, that's a pretty sick loss.
Yeah, 17th in yards, 30th in QBR. And
he just led the league in passing yards.
And the last 16 times they've faced 3rd and 10, they're 0 for 16. So it's staggering what's happened with the interception was terrible. The stats are bad. The zone coverage stats are bad. Can't take off and run, 20 rushes, only 1 first down. And, he's due $50 million. And this could be like Russell Wilson in Denver all over again with how they're going to try to navigate this and with the dead cap hit.
So when it comes to something like this, right, I don't really feel like everybody deserves the blame because that's almost impossible. Like if you're going to create a pie chart, who gets to blame for the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be 50-50 Tua and Mike McDaniel? Well, how about the ownership and the front office? How much blame would they actually get? Like, so if we sit here and tell you, and the problem that they're telling us with the team now is Tua, in fact. By shutting him down, he's not going to play for the team ever again. Then do we give Mike McDaniel a pass?
No. No way. He's done a bad job.
So how does that work, though? Are they both completely inept at their jobs?
Well, I wouldn't say he's inept, but he's certainly been a disappointment the last. He came in with a lot of hype, and they made the playoffs
No, he
2
did.
years in a row. But
if Tua is to the point where he can't play, then maybe the offense is completely hamstrung. Where McDaniel, and he sounds like a buffoon every time he talks anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of gave up on him like last year.
Well, let's see what it looks like the rest of the season. Number one, but then I also go back to that playoff.
Ewers might not be able to play.
Yeah, that's true too. But I just think there's just too many bizarre decisions as well. We expected creativity and imagination. You don't get a lot of it. And how many times does this guy try 55-yard field goals when it's 4th and 1?
We got that 2 years ago. That the season that they put 70 on Denver and the creativity, because he was the guy who was instrumental with the San Francisco 49ers running attack and the creativity. And he brought that over to Miami. And with that combination there of Mostert and Achane, it was working, man. Mostert led the league in rushing touchdowns, and you would see all this misdirection and guys in motion, and you don't know where the ball's going to go, and they were really good on the ground. And that is just, I think they have the personnel, right? Like Achane's awesome.
Well,
you like Ollie Gordon. I think Jalen Wright can actually be pretty good.
Yeah, right. Waller being hurt was the bad deal at the start of the season. But also, why didn't you give Ollie Gordon more carries after he had a great camp and a great preseason? I know there's a lot of questions there. But I can tell you this, there's going to be a lot of bad quarterbacks or below average that are going to be starters next year. I don't know what's going to happen in the draft and how many guys are going to start. And I don't know where he winds up either. I mean, that's the other thing about Jets, Falcons, Raiders, Cardinals. Would you be shocked if Winston's a starter somewhere next year? What happens? Does Kyler Murray go to Miami? What happens to Brissett? Do they run it back with Penix? I don't know. There's going to be a lot of question marks. But what do the Jets do? I mean, what is Cleveland doesn't even know what they're doing. There's going to be a lot of openings and a lot of teams that need a quarterback next year.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of coaching openings as always as well. So, okay, does Tua going anywhere in the league move the needle for you? I would say, to me, he does not.
Is he an okay fit with the Falcons?
I really don't think so.
No?
I think I'd keep going with Penix or Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's an upgrade from over one of those guys.
Okay.
I do think he is an upgrade over Geno Smith.
Yes.
But
he could come out here. Yeah.
To the point of what are they going to do? Win 6 games?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if they can get that high with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think that he could make it work with Brock Bowers a little bit where the offense could look decent. But again, it's just like, man, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and actually think that it's going to be a good thing for any of these other. Does he go to Arizona? Because Murray's not going to be back. Then, like you said, what happens to Brissett? But that team has a lot of weapons, obviously. But they're not going to win the NFC West all of a sudden with Tua as their quarterback. You said the Jets, so we want a guy who's never won below 40 degrees to play.
Yeah, no kidding.
In the Northeast.
I know.
That's a hard pass.
Thing. That's the other thing. You have to look at domes or warm weather spots.
You probably do.
Because now it's one thing he hasn't won. It's like 3 touchdowns, 13 picks now when it's cold.
I take out the fourth quarter the other night too.
Yeah, you have to eliminate that. Yeah. Well, the Jet angle is he's 7-0 against the Jets, though. So that would be typical Jets. Hey, this guy's 7-0 against us. Maybe we bring him in.
We don't want to lose to him anymore.
That's right, yeah. That's something they would do.
So let's completely jump in from the deep end here. What if Joe Burrow asked for a trade in the offseason?
Oh, God, they'd get a huge return. Huge.
Like, so if they, and I firmly believe that too. Think about this. If Parsons got 2 first-round picks, what does Joe Burrow get? I mean, my God, you could talk me into anything here almost.
Yeah.
But if just pretend for 1 second that happens, right? And Burrow's on the move. Would Tua make sense in Cincinnati with all of their weapons? Or is it like what we just said? Well, they're going to play some of their games where it's 19 degrees outside.
Yeah, fair.
But you're talking about Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Brown all of a sudden.
Flacco looked good when he was in there. I know.
However, I also don't want that guy they're going to have to completely revamp the offensive line.
Yes.
Because how many, right? So you have to have like a brick wall in front of this guy. I don't know if there's one good fit overall.
Yeah. I can't believe they gave him that deal.
No,
after all those, I'm not talking about performance. I'm talking about all the concussions he took.
That's more than anything.
That's like, how do you just say, here's $212 million, knowing that the next hit could be it?
Is there a way that we can find a betting market to actually put down heavy wagers against that kind of thing as soon as it's announced, where any of these quarterbacks get paid, whatever it is now, $55 million, other than like a game-to-game basis? Like, hey, I want to bet that that's not going to work out. like Tua would have been a hard bet against, right? There are several other guys who are like, well, we think we have our franchise quarterback, so here's all the money in the world, pal. Go make it work.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to like shake your head like, what? You're going to give him how much money?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's something. That is wild. From how he came in, got off to a great start. Certainly had Tyreek Hill, but how great he was at Alabama.
Yeah.
And you saw what he did against Georgia when he came in place of Hurts. And then you got McDaniel now saying Quinn Ewers gives us a better chance to win.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Is Tua cut today if Tyreek Hill doesn't get hurt this year?
I don't know, because he wasn't having a good year either. He was a pain. That's a tough question. Certainly he's going to have better numbers, but not taking shots down the field and all the interceptions, I don't think that's going to help his case.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to be if Cheetah never got hurt, I don't think they're going to be like a 10-win playoff team.
Yeah. No.
That'd be a reach.
No, you're right. Yeah. Want to bet smarter this season? VSiN has a perfect gift for you, the sports better in your life. We got the Bowls coming up. We'll talk about the bowl game kicking off in less than an hour and moments. Take advantage of our holiday special. Get VSiN Pro access through May 1st, just $79. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, DK and Circa, the AI-powered prop tools, 24/7 video, full show replays as well. You'll get all the postseason betting guides and expert picks. Limited time holiday special, and the college betting guide is phenomenal. Check that out for the playoffs Friday. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get your betting edge today. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now.
You're right. 2 bowls coming up today. One in the next 50 minutes or so, we'll call it, before they kick off. We'll talk about those, and I'll tell you about a team in this role that is 13-30 straight up over the last 43 games. Details on that next here on VSiN.
Playoff is here, and VSiN's betting guide is your ticket to cashing in. For just $14.99, you'll get expert previews of every first-round matchup, playoff brackets from VSiN hosts and insiders, and the sharp insight you can't get anywhere else. Or skip the line and get it free with a VSiN Pro subscription. Go to VSiN.com/CFP to purchase the guide and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Dave Ross here, co-host of VSiN by the Books with my guy Jensen Lewis. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to preview the marquee Thursday night football matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks. Share our ATS leans for the rest of Week 16 in the NFL and so much more. We're going to be joined by a stacked guest list that includes Greg Hoops Peterson, the Maestro, Mike Baum, and we're going to preview the first round of the college football playoff with Aaron Murray. It's VSiN by the Books, Thursday, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, the Knicks get it done. They win the cup. They won't hang a banner. 11-1. Cash that ticket. Hope you made some money if you had 35 and 25-1 on the Spurs. They had the lead in the second half, but the Knicks were great. And chemistry coming together. They're playing great ball right now. Nice win for the Knicks and a nice tournament.
That was an excellent basketball game for the first three quarters.
Yep.
And that's when the Knicks, down 94-87, they just put their foot on the gas, and the Spurs had no answer, and they blew right by them, and that was the ball game.
And the over, 227.5 up to 233.5. That gets there. The bowl game, Jacksonville State and under, +3 to -3.5, and 50.5 down to 47.5. Both winners. College hoops, Miami, Florida International over. 156 up to 162.5, 98-81. Texas and Lemoyne under, 161 down to 152.5, 95-53. And Ryder under 135.5 down to 129.5, 65-57. Subscribe, be part of the team. VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. Imagine you're on a safari, you're on a tour, or having dinner, and you see this. How about two hippos ready to battle? And look at the big fella move. I mean, they're scooting here. I mean, look at this. You're capturing the camera. Then they come in and they're locking jaws here as they open up.
Just right outside the restaurant.
Yeah, right outside, yeah. Yeah, it looks like a restaurant to me, yeah. I have no idea where they are, but they start going at it. And they're fighting, and they got the mouths open, locking jaws and going at it. Tit for tat. Mano-y-mano. Oh, you know, 12,000 pounds there? Whatever it could be. Combined. Look at that.
Wouldn't you love to go on like a 2-week safari sometime?
In about 2 weeks.
Well, whatever. Name the days.
Yeah, right. But then
just for the chance to see something like this?
Yeah, that's wild. Go back. Okay, enjoy your meal now. And off they go.
They're done. There's the entertainment part of the evening.
Yeah, you look, and all of a sudden this guy's come running in about 20 miles an hour. It's like, where's he going? He's ready to battle and throw down.
Meet me outside Joe's in a half an hour. We're going to battle.
God, you sent this in. Dog teaches himself how to sled. Picks it up in his mouth, sets it down like the saucer, and all the way down. Not even a big hill.
No. Imagine taking this guy to a really nice hill.
No kidding. Yeah, it's wasted. But how smart he is to figure this out and just picks it up himself, sets it down, jumps on it. Piece of cake. Excellent. One vicious beat. NHL, Montreal Flyers first period under. No score, a minute left. 2 goals.
Oh.
To put it over. Before the line moves, Sharp Plays already there. They don't just follow the market, they help shape it. You're not going to outsmart billion-dollar books of full-time sharps on your own. AI plays up 50 units, great sources, active across all sports. They deliver the edge serious bettors rely on, free reports, alerts, market moving insights, straight to your inbox or X feed. They've been at it since 2011. They back it up with documented results, logs, and transparent receipts. SharpPlays.com. Stay ahead of the line. SharpPlays.com. Go get them.
All right, so coming up in less than 45 minutes, in theory, we're going to get Old Dominion and South Florida here in a bowl game. South Florida opened up about 7.5-point favorites. They are down to 3.5, 4. I'm seeing now 4.5s again. So some money coming in South Florida after it was driven down to, I think, 3. Touched earlier today. Here's the deal. Their quarterback, Brown's not playing, but also you flip it, ODU, their quarterback has entered the transfer portal. Now, the backup quarterback, Gaston Moore, 20 pass attempts, 7 carries during the regular season. He got work in 6 games when he came in from Tennessee. But this is a chance now. It would give South Florida its 3rd season with 10 wins. Their D-line coach, Kevin Patrick's going to serve as head coach, as obviously their number 1 guy, Alex Golesh, was hired at Auburn. And so you got a lot of movement here, Paulie, in these games and with the point spread overall. Do you think there's a bet to be made, or have you made one already here?
You could maybe do a same-game parlay with stuff that's correlated with maybe ODU's played 5 straight unders with maybe team total, the game under, and stuff like that. Now, it's a battle for Brown, who's a good quarterback. Hartline's coming in as the new coach. Mm-hmm. But Brown is going to coach in this game, and he's going to help with the offensive play calling, as he had a great season. I'm concerned about they were thinking playoff and got off to that great start by blowing out Boise and had some other good wins.
Beat Florida.
That's right. And then they're in this game. Certainly the coach leaves, and the uncertainty of who's going with them with the other coaches. But the ODU thing is a mess as well. So I would lean ODU with the points, and I think you make the case. The total opened 55.5. It's down to 52.5 in some spots. But I don't know enough about Gaston Moore, who was an old man and a vagabond traveling all over the place. We'll see if he gives them a better opportunity. But it is interesting that this tug of war is going on right now between Brown. Does he go to Auburn? Can they put a nice package together at South Florida to keep him? That's what Hartline's talking about and trying to make that. In the meantime, he's just going to help coach and call some plays and see how this goes today coming up in an hour.
Yeah, and here are some numbers on the Old Dominion situation. Again, they're going to be without their starting quarterback, Colton Joseph, also a 1,000-yard rusher, had 34 total touchdowns on the year. 13 of those came on the ground. 6.4 yards per carry on 150 rushes. Their backup is Quinn Hennikel, only threw 15 passes in his redshirt freshman season after throwing 25 passes last year. Old Dominion, 12th in the nation in yards per play on offense. The defense, very good, allowing 4.79 yards per play. As Adam Burke wrote today at VSiN.com, they were clearly the second best team in the Sun Belt. Mm-hmm. But they were in the East Division with James Madison, and nothing you could do about that. So, again, this number opened 7.5, and because of all the movement here with the players, and there's no Brown at quarterback, shop around. Again, if you like the ODU side, looks like there is a 4.5 out there that's available still.
They have won 5 in a row, and I mentioned every game went under. When they played James Madison, not pretty. 63-27.
Yep.
Tough.
And the other one
yep.
that we have, hold on, let me give you this as well. Sun Belt Bowl matchups against the American Athletic, Mountain West, and Conference USA have been high scoring. In those games since 2004, the over is 32-15-1. There is that. And there's another angle here from Steve Makinen at VSiN.com for the other game. This is Louisiana against Delaware. He pointed out today that playing in the small underdog role of less than 7 points has not been kind to Conference USA teams. The record overall is 13-30 straight up, 15-28 ATS since 2001. That would be Delaware here as the very small dog here at Circa, now catching 1 point against the Raging Cajuns.
It's a great story. Their first year of FCS, Delaware makes a bowl and has a 6-6 season.
Yep.
They played a lot of high-scoring games this year. They beat UTEP in their last game, 61-31. A little bit of over money, open 58.5. Contrasting, I would think Delaware is looking to throw here, and Louisiana is all about ground and pound and get the rushing attack going. Is a pretty good rush offense here. So I agree with the move with the over, but it's tough from a side. You're seeing some Delaware money now too, as this was as high as 3 with the Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, in terms of overall pride and how good this would be as a feeling to win this game if you're Delaware. They were, always in the FCS playoffs. Not always, but recently anyway. They made the semifinals in 2020. They got back in 2022 and 2023. And as you said, first year of eligibility to get to a bowl game and to win a bowl game. Like this, it almost has the feel kind of like a military school, a service academy school playing today, where the players are going to be invested. And it actually means a ton of them to get, and play on a December 17th bowl game.
Yep.
Pretty big deal for them, I would think. But does that mean that they're worth a bet overall? Defensively, they gave up over 6 yards per play. They ranked 116th in the country. Not great, obviously. Louisiana allowed 6 yards per play. That's 109th. And so I think that plays into the reason for the move, about a 2.5 point total now, from 58.5 to 61.
In some ways, you can attack this in play. I mean, you have new quarterbacks out there, backup quarterbacks playing, and coaches that are leaving. You can see what it looks like early on. Like, you could tell yesterday right away, there's not going to be a lot of points scored in this game.
Right.
Troy's only touchdown was defensive, and you could see how it was going to play out as well. Ohio let their coach go today. Alleged misconduct. UNLV opened 3.5. UNLV's up to 6.5. In that game coming up the 23rd.
That's
they took money today.
Rather large number. I get it with the Ohio situation. It's a pretty big number. By the way, that totals up to 65 now. But for UNLV in this defense to be laying 6.5, oh man.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get a ton of stops against Ohio.
They've been better though. It was really bad in the middle of the season, but they did a nice job down the stretch. But But it's just a mess with Ohio now, who they're going against with this situation. The guy was put on leave December 1st. And that came down today.
What do you make of the NBA schedule?
That's ridiculous.
So light leading into the Cup.
Yeah.
And then tonight you only get 2 games again.
What a life. All this time off. Yeah. Well, they put that in. How about what Silver said? They might look at playing these games in storied college basketball venues.
Well, there you go. If they actually
now, that
do
makes
that,
sense.
that's a huge winsome if they actually do that.
Play at Hinkle or Cameron or something?
No doubt.
That would be awesome if they pull that off.
Nigel Seeley from the Betting Weekly Studios on the program next. We'll discuss the World Cup draw and get his best bets in soccer for the weekend. On Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Got a good thing coming, just wait and see. It's a good.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good to have you on board as we're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort Casino. This is going to be a lot of fun. Catching up with a longtime friend of the show. We're going to go heavy soccer here. We'll get best bets for this weekend and also reaction to the World Cup draw and bracket with Nigel Seeley as he joins us from the Betting Weekly studios here on the Progressive Guest Line. What's up, mate? Good to hear from you again. How are things?
How are you guys? How are you? Long time no speak. How you doing? You all good?
It has been a long time. Yeah. So I'll remind people for the afternoon audience here, Paulie and I, we did mornings for about 7 years. You came on with us live like every week during the soccer season. I think it was one of your first appearances on the show back in 2017. We're talking about the 2018 World Cup, and you're like, might want to get on Croatia, grab a piece of them at 66-1. Well, fast forward a couple of months, they made the World Cup final. They didn't win it, but they got there. And we're like, Jesus, man, Nigel, you think he knows what he's talking about? So that was great, and we've known you ever since. And we'll get into that World Cup obviously coming up. That's going to
it's gone down. It's gone downhill ever since, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
It's gone downhill ever since.
Well, we'll find out if you have anybody like Croatia at 66-1 from that 2018 season. But let's begin with the card that we have in the Prim this weekend. Don't look now. Man City is 2 points back in the table. And they're red hot right now, and they're taking on West Ham this weekend. What do you make of the numbers for this match?
Well, first of all, we've got an incredible title race over in England. You got Arsenal, obviously, have set the pace at the early stage, and everyone thought they may have wrapped it up already. But Man City are chasing them down, and Man City are the team that's seen it, done it, won it, know exactly what they've got to do, and they've got the most prolific goal scorer in world football in Erling Haaland, who just turns up on the pitch and scores goals. His record is absolutely phenomenal. 36 goals, I think it is now in 24 matches in all competitions this season, breaking goal scoring records. And I think that every chance that, if they win the title, they need to wrap this guy up in cotton wool, because any injury to him or any problem to him, they're going to have some serious problems to replace him. Manchester City in this match are very heavy favourites. They're minus $5. You would expect them to beat West Ham fairly comfortable. West Ham aren't the very best of sides. They have had a little bit of improvement under their new manager. But the big problem for West Ham is the number of goals they concede. I mean, they conceded an alarming amount of goals. They played in a crazy match of the weekend against Aston Villa, conceded 3 goals when they were in winning positions twice in that match, scored after 22 seconds and could hold on to the lead. They just concede too many goals. And when you're up against Manchester City, who are free scoring, they played again tonight, Manchester City, and just won with the reserve side 2-0. Very, very easy win from in the League Cup. They scored 3 at Crystal Palace in the weekend. Haaland again got 2 goals in that game. They've scored at least 2 goals. I think it's now in their last 11 matches. How on earth can they not score against this West Ham side that is really, really poor defensively? So Man City are going to win this match because they have the better squad. Phil Foden is in fantastic form, and West Ham defensive frailties they're there all to see. I think the angle in is basically how many you think West Ham are going to score. You can bet them to score more than 2 goals. I think that's a decent wager. You can bet them minus 2.5, minus 2 on the Asian handicap. I think they should cover that. But I just think this could be a very, very high-scoring game. And Manchester City could end up winning this very, very easy. I mean, if you look at the head-to-head record between the two sides, it's not very good if you're a West Ham supporter. They just get beat by them, and they get beat very, very highly. So for me, Man City keep the pressure on Arsenal with a very, very easy win. They played twice last season and won 4-1 and 3-1. The season before 3-1, 3-1. And in the last 9 matches for Man City have played West Ham, they've scored at least 2 goals. So it's going to be Man City again to score at least 2 goals. So over 2.5 goals, over 1.5 goals. Man City will cover the goal line, I think, probably on their own, and they'll win this one fairly comfortably.
All right. You're stepping out here. Wolverhampton, 16 matches, 2 points, 14 losses, minus 26 goal differential. What do you think Wolverhampton here? They're plus 260 against Brentford.
Well, I think there is no doubt about it that Wolves are the worst team in the Premier League at this moment in time. At the start of the season, they weren't considered to be the worst side. They were around about 2-1 or 3-1, I think, to get relegated. So they're not performing anywhere near what they expected, and they're probably the worst performing side at this stage ever in English Premier League season. But I think the price on them has got a little bit too big for this match because Brentford are pretty bad. I mean, I've seen Brentford live this season. a couple of times, and they are very average. At home, they're excellent. They come out the traps fast and they score lots of goals. Away from home, they've only won one match this season, ironically, which was at West Ham. They got beat by Man City tonight, 2-0, created nothing, literally nothing in the match. Their XG was 0.1, so they had hardly any shots, nothing. They played Tottenham at the weekend. They got beat at the last away game. They got beat 2-0 by them. They went to Arsenal, got beat 2-0. I was at that match. They were dreadful. I saw them play Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace beat them fairly comfortably 2-0. So they've lost their last 5 road matches. They've only scored 1 goal, and they've been conceded 2 goals in every single match. And Wolves have just come in on the back of what was their best performance of the season by a mile, where they should have got something against Arsenal. I mean, it was the last-minute kick of an own goal, actually, that got Arsenal the 3 points against Wolves. And if they can replicate that form, they can beat this Brentford side, because this Brentford side is pretty bad. They played in midweek as well. They just played now, so they've had the extra game, and they've had to travel up to Manchester, not too far, but they've had to travel. And I think Wolves will take a lot out of that Arsenal match. I know they lost it narrowly, but a new manager, and he will be very proud of that performance from a team that was at the bottom of the table against a team at the top of the table. I just got a feeling that Wolves at 3-1 is far too big a price for this match. I think it's the wrong price. I personally would like to bet them +0.5, which means I get the draw on my side as well, because I wouldn't be surprised to see this draw, Joel. But Brentford are very poor, a very poor side who do nothing on the road. And I'm looking at Brentford at 25-1, to get relegated, because I think Wolves are gone. I mean, they've only got 2 points. They're going to go. I think Burnley are gone. But there's about 4 or 5 sides, West Ham, Leeds, Brentford. There's not much between them, like a couple of points, 1 win and they can go into, or 1 defeat, they can go into the relegation zone. And if they lose this match, they'll be 10-1. And I think they're worth a little bit of a nibble on the relegation market, Brentford. A lot of people fancied them to get relegated at the start of the season. They've done a little bit better than what we expected, but they are a bad side, and they have. To me, I think they're a fade. I think they've lost a few players as well to the AFCON. I think they've lost 3 players to the AFCON, which is the African Cup of Nations, where some of the big players in the Premier League have gone, and I think that will be a problem for them. So, yeah, I give Wolves a chance here. If they can replicate that form that they showed against Arsenal, they can win this.
Our friend Nigel Seeley, Betting Weekly Studios. He's on the Progressive guest line. One more here, 3 minutes before we have to break. Brighton $1.50 against Sunderland. Sunderland top 10 in the table, and off that huge rivalry win against Newcastle 1-0. How about the case for Brighton here, lad?
I think there's a big case to be made for Brighton in this one because of the AFCON championships that I said. No team in the Premier League will lose more players than Sunderland to the AFCON, to the African Cup of Nations. They lose 6 players. And out of those 6, 5 of them are starters. And they're good players. They lose their best defender, they lose their striker, and they lose their best midfield player. So they're a very, very small squad. They've done exceptionally well. And now to lose 6 players for possibly 4 to 5 matches, I think you might see a little bit of a blip from Sunderland. They're great at home, not so good on the road. And Brighton need to get a win here. I think Brighton could win this fairly comfortably. I quite like Brighton on the Asian handicap -1, minus 0.75, whichever one you want to go with it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brighton perhaps win this by a decent number, because Sunderland, not only have they lost those 6 players, which are key players, they've also just come on the back of a massive win against Newcastle in a huge, huge derby match. And that would have taken a lot out of that team. They're a small squad. They're great at home, not so good on the road. And without key players, I think they're a side to fade over the Christmas period, because I think regardless of how well they've done, to lose those players is going to be a big blow for Sunderland. And I think it couldn't happen at a worse time for them. So I've got a feeling Brighton might cover that. The only trouble with Brighton, their best 2 defenders are out suspended. Their captain, Lewis Dunk, and their other captain, the other player, Sanchez, I think he's suspended as well. So they lose 2 of their back 4 defenders. But I think they've got enough to be a depleted Sunderland team.
Very good. Nigel Seeley, our guest, Progressive guest line. Follow him on X at Seeley_Nigel. He's going to hang out for about 15 more minutes. We'll get his thoughts on maybe a future bet or 2 to make right now in the World Cup. You're going to come over to the States, I'm guessing, for pretty much the entire event?
I'm going to come out, yeah. I'll tell you my travel plans after the break, but I'm going to come out and then I'm going to head back for Wimbledon tennis and then head back out for the latter stages. I'm being a bit optimistic. I'm planning that England will still be in the competition when we get to the quarterfinals. I could be completely wrong. So I might just have a few days in Miami instead of watching any football.
Yeah. What'd you make of the prices, by the way, when they first dropped?
Oh, no.
Well, Mitch, this is the most talking point. I mean, I think I could do 2 segments on the prices of the World Cup. I mean, if you want to go to watch every single England game and on your flights and your hotel, you want to go from the tournament to the beginning to the tournament end, and you and your son want to go. My son wants to go to 21. I'm going to need 40 to 50,000. That's what I'm going to need to go to watch the World Cup.
Oh my God! What is that like compared to like previous World Cups? Because you've been to a bunch of them.
I mean, the World Cup final, the cheapest ticket for the World Cup final is $4,000. I went to the Euro final last year where in Germany, where England played Spain. It was $70.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Oh, wow. All right, more with Nigel Seeley up next. We'll see about a future bet to make. We'll break down the World Cup. And I'll ask him, what does he think of the ceiling for USA next year, coming up here on VSiN?
Want to bet smarter this holiday season? VSiN's Pro Holiday Special is the perfect gift. Get VSiN Pro access through May 1st for just $79. That's daily best bets, real-time splits, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video, and expert coverage of every major sport, from college bowls and NFL playoffs to March Madness and the Masters. Plus, postseason betting guides to make you a sharper bettor. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
And maybe that's why they wouldn't, because they're the Giants and they don't do things that make sense.
Out of all these divisions, this is the one that I am the most curious about, because I do think there are positive signs for the Bears.
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue talking soccer here, football. Nigel Seeley from the Betting Weekly studios. He's on the Progressive guest line. I promise we're going to ask him about maybe a couple of bets to make here on this bad boy coming to the States next summer. But you were telling us something during the break. Can you elaborate here on, and it's been a big talking point, rightfully so, but how expensive it is for the tickets next year. But compare this to people here listening in the U.S., what it's like to go to the World Cup finale and something that you have that's called Club Wembley.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the ticket prices in America are a lot more expensive generally than anywhere else in the world, especially in England as well. I mean, I'm very lucky to go to a lot of stuff in America, and you pay a lot of money. I mean, I went to see U2 at the Sphere at the Sphere, and I paid about $800 for that. Now that wouldn't have happened. Like, you wouldn't get that in the UK. It'd be about $100. So things are more expensive, but the differential here is crazy. So the World Cup final, there's three bands. You have Category A, Category B, Category C. Mm-hmm. And you go into a ballot if you're successful. People have an application. Now, this is just to stand at the World Cup final. The cheapest ticket is $4,800, and the most expensive is $8,200. And all it is you still have exactly the same thing. You don't get any hospitality, no drink. You're just in a nicer view of the pitch, and the middle section is about $6,000. Now, at Wembley Stadium, I have a package called Club Wembley, which entitles you to have the door opens 3 hours before the match, and you get all free drinks, you get all free hospitality, you get all your free food. An hour after as well, you have entertainment, and that applies for every single England home match. So you get about 8 England home matches a year. You get the FA Cup final, which is our equivalent of the Super Bowl, our big event, of the year, our big sporting event over here. We have the FA Cup semi-finals, which are at Wembley, and you have the Carabao Cup final. And you also have the option to buy any concert a day before they go on general release. And that ticket for me, for all those events, cost me the same as what it would be for the cheapest World Cup final ticket, without any hospitality, without any flights, without any... It's the same price. And, and I said to you that a season ticket at Arsenal is probably about $1,000. So you can go to the World Cup final, or you could watch 5 years of Arsenal home matches where you're getting every single Champions League, every single Premier League game, or just go to one game at the World Cup final. And I think it's priced. Certainly, I'm involved in a lot of supporters groups over here, and it's priced a lot of people out in the market. They have come up with these $60 tickets, but they've only given 150 of them to people, and they're only people who have got the highest amount of games, people who never miss an England game. And, the biggest problem is that what's happened with the ticket price is so expensive is because in these, the ticket allocation is so small. So England's first game in Dallas at the AT&T is a 90,000-seater stadium, but England supporters and Croatia supporters, as well, any other, have only been given 4,000 tickets, which means there's 82,000 tickets in corporate and business and general sale on the FIFA website. So the problem is that the price is so high, for many reasons, but the real reason is that the ticket allocation is so small, so the demand, and people will pay it. If there was 30,000 tickets, they wouldn't sell 30,000 tickets for the World Cup final, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. All right, so again, you came on like 2017, said, guys, get a Croatia ticket right now, 66-1. They made the World Cup finale in 2018. Is there any country like that right now at this point? I know we're several months out again, but you're like, at that number, maybe I should put that in my pocket right now.
Well, I think it's very difficult to look past some of the big nations at this moment in time because they are. I think Spain is the best team in the world, the best nation in the world, and the worthy favourites. And I think 5-1 Spain is actually a little bit of value. I think the conditions are going to really be important here at the World Cup. I mean, the last World Cup in America in '94. The weather conditions played havoc with a lot of teams. Famously, the Irish played in New York and it was too hot for them. And I think the weather conditions are going to be really, really, really key. So a lot of the England games kick off at like mid-afternoon in Dallas, in Mexico City. They could be playing Mexico City against Mexico in the last 16. The weather conditions are going to be really, really testing. So that's one big factor. So I think the South American clubs will have a little bit of an advantage, especially if they're playing on the west coast of America with obviously the Hispanic people, inhabitants over there. And I think that's going to help them a little bit there. So looking down the list, I mean, Norway have probably been the most bet team from that sort of 66-1 range, and they're into now 25-1. Mm-hmm. But that's all because of one man, Haaland. Yep. They've got obviously Odegaard, but if Haaland gets injured and misses the World Cup, then Norway 100-1. he's the most important player in any team, in any nation. Haaland is the man. But I think at 25-1, there's absolutely no value there. Going on my trends for, like, South American sides who could do well, I think Colombia could do pretty well at 50-1. That's kind of, I look at them. Ecuador, a lot of people have spoken up about Ecuador, but they've been given a very, very tough draw. I mean, they're in with the Ivory Coast in Germany, so that's a tough draw for them. So Uruguay, again, they're another side that could do well. They're going to probably come second to Spain. They've got a decent run. They're in that kind of price bracket. But I think if I was looking for one side now at a big price, Colombia could be the team that I think could go deep. I don't think they can win it, but they could definitely give you a run for your money at 50s. I mean, they're in the group with Portugal and Uzbekistan at the moment, and we're waiting to find out who the other nation that goes into their draw. So they should qualify from that group. And at a decent price in conditions which will suit, and obviously going to be very, very heavily supported in the competition, they would be a side that I look for. But Ecuador is around, over here you can get 150-1 Ecuador, and some other sports books are 40-1 Ecuador.
Wow, okay.
And they're the ones, if you speak to a lot of people, a lot of people who follow South American football, they think Ecuador can pull off a shot. But the draw they've been handed, it concerns me. And they're in the draw with, like I say, they're in with Ivory Coast and Germany. So you want to be finishing top two, and I think Colombia are much more certain to finish in the top two than Ecuador.
Okay, fair enough. Nigel Seeley, our guest from the Betting Weekly studios. What do you think the ceiling is for our club over here, Team USA?
I think they've got a really good chance. I don't think they're going to win it, but I definitely think they could be looking at the quarterfinals. I'm quite optimistic about the American side. Obviously, they've got a very favourable draw. I mean, Paraguay and Australia, I don't think you can ask for a better draw than that, really. We're still waiting to find out who they get in that thing. And we don't know who that final team is from the European qualification. That will be their toughest test. But, I think with all host nations, you need to get off to a fast start. So if they can win and the country can get behind them, support them and get them going, then that's going to take, that momentum will take them far. And I think they've got a world-class manager, one of the best managers in the tournament, in Pochettino. You know how highly I've spoken about him over the years, haven't I, Paulie, about Pochettino? I always felt he should have been the Manchester United manager when the opportunity to get him. I think he's working on it. He hasn't had to. He's got a lot of time with his players, and he's got a squad of players that are getting better and better and better. A lot of players playing over here in the English Premier League who've been doing really, really well. I'm watching one of them now play for Brentford. Playing for Fulham, Chris Richards. They've got some good players. They've got goal scorers. They've got solid defence, good goalkeeper. Pulisic as well, playing it over in Italy as well. So I think they'll do well. I think the draw is favourable for them. They need a little bit of luck to go well, but I think if they can get to the quarterfinals, and even if they can get one step further and get to the semi-finals, that's amazing. But I wouldn't rule them out. I think if you look at it, they're 80-1 to win it. I don't think they'll win it, but I think they could win. I think they do win their group. I definitely think they'll win their group. So their group will be the Bay. Paraguay and Australia are nothing to worry about. They'll beat them. Paraguay, a bit unknown, but I think with home advantage, they should beat them as well. So I think they'll do all right. I think
very good.
Okay.
I love the optimism there. Okay, in about 90 seconds here, what about your club? England, they're plus 550, second shot on the board.
Well, I think we've been there close. We've got to two finals of the Euros. We've got to quarterfinals of the World Cup, semi-finals of the World Cup. The reasons why we never went any further was because our manager, Gareth Southgate, our previous manager, wasn't a very tactically astute manager. We now have a world-class manager in Thomas Tuchel who can make the tactical adjustments, and we've got a very, very good squad. We've got cover for every position. The problem is, I think the weather will cause us problems. After a long season in the Premier League, I think, kicking off at Dallas lunchtime, then potentially playing in Miami in the quarterfinals. We could be playing Brazil in Miami in lunchtime. I can't see that being any help for England. I think Brazil in those conditions will thrive in that. Boston in New York, lunchtime conditions as well against Ghana in Boston. I don't think that will help England. But player for player, we've got as good a chance as anybody. My only worry is that we heavily rely on Harry Kane. I mean, he's having an unbelievable season, but without Harry Kane, we don't have a backup striker. We have backup everybody else. We have backup midfielders. We've got Phil Foden, Cole Palmer. We've got Jude Bellingham in that midfield area. But I worry about our backup with Harry Kane. If Harry Kane gets injured, I think we're in trouble. But if England don't make the semi-final, I think it'll be a disappointment after how long we've done. and a bit of luck along the way, we can do it. But I just think the conditions and the evening matches might suit us. But in the blazing sun against South American sides on the west coast of America, I'd want to be with the South Americans, I feel.
Very good. You can follow Nigel on X, again, at Sealy_Nigel. He joined us here from the Betting Weekly Studios. Dynamite, my man. Great catching up. Thanks so much, and have a great weekend.
And you guys, have a good one. Yeah, have a very happy Christmas. I won't speak to you in the new year. Take care.
Same to you. There you go. Happy holidays, buddy. Merry Christmas.
I know a great pizza spot you can go to in Dallas.
There you go. Line them up. Up next, the great Sal Paolantonio makes his weekly appearance. We'll talk Week 16 National Football League here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.